Hi, I'm Marvin Plackett, and today is Tuesday, July 21st. Greetings to all residents, to all staff, and to all guests. We now have 4 active cases of COVID-19, 1 resident and 3 staff. So one of our staff members has fully recovered and is back to being scheduled like usual, so welcome back. We're delighted to see, of course, when anyone who has COVID does recover fully. And for some of these, it's been quite some time. So really pleased to report that. Once again, we now have 4 active cases, 1 resident and 3 staff, and the 1 resident is in our dedicated COVID unit on 2nd floor at Episcopal Church Home. The trend in Minnesota has gone the other direction here of recent. I'm sure that you are paying attention just as I am. From today's Star Tribune, I'm jumping in the middle of the article. For the COVID-19 case count in Minnesota reached 47,107, including the addition of 922 cases reported on Monday. That is the highest single-day total reported in Minnesota since the start of the pandemic. Though state health officials said they have yet to vet about 2/3 of the reported test results due to a switch this week into a new data management system. Erzman said that the final daily number could decline, but the overall trend is upward. Minnesota is now reporting a rate of 9 new cases of COVID-19 per 100,000 people per day, an increase from 6 per 100,000 on June 16th. The actual rate, based on the latest COVID-19 data, is more than the 10 cases per 100,000, enough to likely keep Minnesota for a second week as a state from which travel to New York is restricted. Minnesota's target goal is no more than 5 cases per 100,000. So once again, right now we are reporting at a rate of 9 cases per 100,000, and the goal in Minnesota is 5 cases per 100,000. And is one of 5 measurements the state uses to access the adequacy of its response to the pandemic. Upcoming decisions using this data include whether to loosen restrictions and capacity levels on businesses and whether to allow in-person school classes classes in the fall. And of course it goes on. So this trend, of course, is unsettling. It is something that we all need to, of course, take seriously, because it's not like the governor or the commissioner of health can just make a declaration and it goes one way or the other. They can make declarations, but it requires the cooperation of all of us. And here at Episcopal Homes, our goal, of course, is to, amongst fully living, is to keep everyone safe. And that is all residents, all staff, all guests, anyone that comes onto our campus, right? To keep everyone safe. That is right up there at the top. But that requires everyone's help. That requires your help. It requires your cooperation. It requires my cooperation. It requires all of us setting the right example. It requires all of us accepting full responsibility for doing our part. And if we see someone who doesn't have a mask on or isn't practicing social distancing, to point that out, to politely point it out, that, hey, we need everybody's cooperation for this to work, okay? So, with that, I say be vigilant. It's really vital that we all be vigilant. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 1:30. And now we have some final words from Phil Rose.
Thank you, Marvin. Not to make light of it, but I was thinking with travel restrictions to New York, that means that the Minnesota Twins that are starting baseball in a couple of days, they can't go to New York and lose. So that's a good thing. So this weekend, one of the themes of the readings was hope. And I was really thinking a lot about how hope is something that we need at this time. And one of the things that was pointed out in one of the scriptures is that hope isn't hoping for something that we've seen, but it's hoping for something that is unseen. And that really stands out for me. And I used a quote this weekend, so some of you have already heard this, but I think it was strong enough that I wanted to bring it back today. This is from Steve Charleston, and I wish I had known more about him. He was the Bishop of Alaska in the 90s, and then the Dean of the EDS Divinity School, which is at Harvard. And he sounds like an amazing man. He was a member of the Choctaw, I'm using past tense, he is alive, member of the Choctaw Nation in Oklahoma. And he wrote this last week, which I think is really a very hopeful thing for us to hear. Something sacred is coming this way. That is how my ancestors would have said it. In the midst of all this turmoil and confusion, when we cannot clearly see the path before us, when we feel trapped in a situation we cannot control, then I believe the wise elders of my holy heritage would climb to the high places of the heart, draw the circle of reason and faith around them, and stand to sing their prayers into the open sky of the history to come. They would not shrink into a corner afraid, but rise up to catch the first light of what was coming into being all around them. We are living in a time of emergence. We are the witnesses to a great renewal. The world is full of the fear of birth and change, but that transformation will one day be our blessing. Do not be afraid, but be believing. Come to the place where the ancestors are already standing. Come and see. Something sacred is coming this way. There's a line in there that I just love, this line of the open sky. They stand and sing their prayers into the open sky of the history to come. We are in a position to shape that history and connect with the power of our ancestors and with the power of love to make a change to affect what this future history looks like. So thank you for listening, and I will be back in about 15 minutes with the Catholic service. Thank you.